License to Kill. I can recall in my past there were situations in my past relationship where there was situations that were given to me as an option, as a point into the next, into a segue into the next phase of the relationship. One of those was the decision to call off the engagement or not, and that was given to me. But then the other one was the decision to do something else. And one of the points I wanted to make about this video is when you're with women, there will be times where, to guys specifically, because this is a guy's channel, when you're with women, sometimes you'll have women who will allow you to make a decision that you don't know you're making, if that makes any sense. For example, she asks you if something is something, and you say yes, and you make a decision based off of what she says specifically. That is going to cause effects in other aspects of the relationship that you don't even know about. And you agreed to this thing without knowing. So in a way, you made a deal with the devil, but you don't even know you did it, right? It'd be like if you shook the devil's hand, but the devil was disguised as another person. License to Kill is very similar in that a woman will find situations, she'll find a way to create plausible deniability so that she can go and do whatever it is she wants to do. And in this particular case, I'm pertaining to something that would end the relationship. You do have situations where women will ask their partners if they can have an open relationship. And in some cases, the women are already having intimate situations with other people. They just want these, they just want, they don't want to hide it anymore. And this is kind of the plausible deniability, an example of it that allows women to manipulate in situations constantly. In my relationship, in my past relationship, one of the gambits was my hesitation towards allowing her to use Tinder platform. But the Tinder platform in this particular scenario, I was using it as a means to gather data and to explore things, and I wanted to prove that certain statistical analysis were true regarding men and women. And to my detriment, this was a decision. What was interesting is that I was hesitant to some degree, but she asked if I still wanted to do the experiment. And this was, I wouldn't say it was the kiss of death, but it was it was a very dark moment, and it was one of the darkest interactions that I've faced. It changed a lot about how I view people, and it opened up darker aspects of my psyche. So the license to kill came in that situation where I actually agreed to go through with allowing her to be on Tinder. And this wasn't me saying, hey, yes, you can go and talk to guys and do that and date them and stuff. This was me saying, yes, you can participate in this research with me. Upon finishing, then we'll, collect the data and we'll talk about it, things like that. Sadly, after it happened, it was kind of weird, actually, because I was kind of just angry, and I was like, I kind of just wanted to see if I could actually attract other women and stuff like that. But it kind of just went downhill, and it became It became a battle of wits, but the battle was okay, well, let's see who cares about who the most. And in this particular scenario, the woman was trying to figure out a way to find another partner, to find someone who she saw as more attractive, but in a way that would allow her plausible deniability to where she didn't have to be accountable for what happened. Many times people who are morally bankrupt, they try to put themselves in situations where they don't have to be accountable for their actions. And this happens for a variety of reasons, but it does point to moral bankruptcy. You oftentimes don't really get apologies from individuals like this, and you don't get any type of remorse either. They make these decisions purely out of emotion. Sometimes they're very calculated as well. Um, we do call women uh, very emotional. We know we say they're emotional creatures, but one thing that has to be realized, and this is um, let me see, I think it's a quote actually from Esther Villar. See if I can bring it up real quick. What a great advantage a man can have over a woman if he only knew what cold and calculating thoughts are going through her mind while her eyes are brimming with tears. Esther Villar. This is a quote from her, and it helped me realize that people aren't always going to have your best interests at heart, even when they say things at face value. It benefits you to look into the their intentions, to feel the energy around them, and to watch and pay attention to the deeper aspects of them. Just listening to words can oftentimes be dangerous, but you do have people who are naive, and naive people can run into a trap where they get ensnared by Machiavellian individuals and individuals who are secretly plotting against them. This isn't always easy to find, because when you're with someone you love, or you're with someone who you have deep affections for, your ability to track those kind of behaviors are diminished, and the diminishing of these abilities is partly why certain people, particularly narcissists, love bomb people. Love bombing, it disarms a person in that it takes away their awareness. A person is more palatable to a predator, a predatorial person, when they are bombarded with feelings that are irrational. Their alarms, whatever they would use to alarm themselves, their defense systems are lowered, and so it makes it difficult for them to see bad behavior and to actually recognize that it's bad and to respond in kind. And this is something that people who love bomb know. They know this well. Now I'm talking about narcissists, but in this particular example, I'm talking about women. Women are very similar to narcissists in that whenever they believe that they have a an emotional hook in their men, this is oftentimes where you'll see the worst behavior from these women. It'll come out, and the guy will tolerate quite a lot of behavior, and he won't be he'll be none the wiser. But the woman will know that, oh, well, he's going to tolerate this because he has emotions for me. And that's part of the reason why a lot of women actually want a guy to express his love for her, because she wants to know that she has that level of control before she does whatever it is that she does. As disturbing as that is, um, now there are women who were raised with good fathers and they were raised with a good mother, and they don't um, they don't uh, abuse male commitment and emotional connection. But the sad reality is most people exploit other people. This is the reality. Males exploit women. They they do whatever they can to get their needs met, and women do whatever they can to get their needs met. Now the male will want to figure out a way to get the box. He'll want to figure out a way to get access to the box, and women will do whatever they can to get access to the bag. And this is the sad reality of things. um, I guess there probably is a male equivalent to the license to kill. But the disturbing part about the license to kill is that the person ends up walking into their own oblivion, but they don't even realize it. Their perspective, who you could call their loving partner, walks them into a trap, and they're ensnared in that trap. And before they can turn around and speak, a lot of time before they can, uh, get, before they can, oftentimes before they can actually even get righteous comeuppance, or before they can, uh, accuse the person of doing things to them secretly without them knowing, it's too late. The person is, many times they're cowards, but they back out of the situation before it even gets to the point where they can be held accountable. That's why I say you see this with narcissists. Narcissists, what do? They love bomb, and after they love bomb, then they hook their fangs, and they do. That's when they do the very worst, um, because that's when they have the most control. When the person believes that, oh, this person could never do anything wrong. They're so lovely. They're so kind. They're so this. They're so that. Many times men argue that women, before they get married to the guy, they're on their best behavior because they want to earn the marriage. But then after they get married, they feel, and this is not, I guess this isn't predatory necessarily. This is just nature of, whenever you feel like you've won, it's just human nature to not work as hard. But the modern marriage situation puts a man in a situation where he doesn't have a lot of options, and once he gets married, the woman loses her her need to work hard for the guy. So you'll see things like her withholding sex from the guy. You'll see, the guy, he won't try as hard a lot of times. He'll, you know, just both sides will kind of just lack. Um, they won't really bring what they initially brought in. But the interesting thing is, the reason why they brought certain qualities to the relationship to begin with is because there was a certain scarcity. There was a palpable, being with someone who could easily just replace you or leave or move on, creates an anxiety. And I think this anxiety makes people want to work. It brings out the best in people. Rollo Tomasi calls it dread. But there's a natural dread when relationships start. especially when a woman perceives the guy as having high value. She perceives you as having high value as a man, which generally women want high value men. So if they're with a guy, uh, it's because they see the guy as having high value. Um, if they're with a guy that has seeming high value, then the women are going to want to be on their best behavior because they're going to assume that that guy can get any woman he wants. And so this is going to create an anxiety, and that anxiety is going to propel her to act good based off of the value she perceives him having. Which, sad part is, once she gets married, she doesn't perceive him as having that same value. It diminishes for many reasons. Um, from a biological standpoint, the one of the main ways that men seem to keep that value is by having women around who see him as a prospective mate. I think this is the one thing that staves off relationship issues, or has the greatest potential to stave off relationship issues. Only thing is, we're not honest about this, and so many men see this as something that's, oh, this is not honorable. I have to. I did this. I made this mistake in my relationship. The women who were interested in me, I just kind of shooed them away, right? And they just went away forever. But I didn't realize that, and there were some women who asked for my number right in front of pretty much asked to interact with me right in front of uh, the ex, and I pretty much shooed them away in a nice way. But knowing what I know now, I would have. I pretty much would have. Oh, excuse me. I would have just taken a number because at the end of the day, it just makes me seem. It just makes me. It puts me in a better position. I think men are afraid to use Machiavellian tactics on women, but the thing that's interesting is women aren't afraid to use Machiavellian tactics on you when they do it uh, without remorse. A lot of them. Now, you can use dark tactics for good and you can use them for bad. So there is that, and you'll have to decide where you fit on that. So the to kill is something that males can do. It's something that females can do. Your boss can do it to the employee. Um, Bosses can do it to employees, where they can walk them in situations where the employee does something wrong and that they didn't know or something, and then fire the employee for something like that. There's a lot of little, things that we do to people that set them up for failure, and when they end up failing, we either have the opportunity of admitting what we did, or we can just simply say they messed up. Oh, you messed up. Oh, that's too bad. Well, one of the things that annoys me thinking about this now is we don't call out the deeper aspects of Machiavellianism. We don't call it out in narcissists. We don't call it out in women. Both of these groups being one of the predominant uh, users of psychopaths and sociopaths, obviously as well. But women are naturally Machiavellian, and they naturally use a lot of different tactics and dark things to their advantage, and it makes sense because their relative size compared to men. Um, yeah, it's not as big of a discussion as I thought it was gonna be, but I'm just trying to hash out some ideas just off cuff, just off the rip. Oh, Adam, I think I'm tired too. Um, I'm going through a lot of changes recently. There's a lot of things that are changing. There's a lot of little tiny things that are happening as well. Um, I'm very grateful for this platform. Glad that I'm starting to get a bigger following. Even though I'm really small right now, I don't want to get too big because a lot of the stuff I talk about is it's not pretty. Um, it's not widely accepted, and my opinion is just it's not an easy opinion to digest because I talk about a lot of dark aspects to human nature and specifically female nature. And female nature is human nature. That's probably another video I'm going to do. But yeah, I'm going to end this discussion, which is not really all that big a discussion because I don't have a lot of people on, but that's cool. One thing I know is that even though my channel is small, I know that the things that I talk about are are important. So I'm going to continue to talk about these things until they get heard or until the message is done and I don't have anything else to say. Um, but to recap before I end the video, license to kill, a plausible deniability, a situation involving plausible deniability where a person might allow or lead another person into their own folly without the other person knowing it. That is a license to kill. And many times, the people that do this, one of the things that gives them the ability to do this so easily is because they don't love the other person as much as the other person loves them. It's extremely difficult to do treacherous things to people that you love. And one of the things that guys complain about a lot is that uh, they complain that some women um, that they're running into are doing terrible things. They're cheating on them. They're doing this. They're doing that. Um, and some of these things that they're doing are particularly calculated. And the calculations would imply that it's very difficult to to plot things against people that you love that are treacherous and that will harm a person. And so the argument I would make is did a person who harmed you in such a way, however they did it, whatever the breakup was, whatever the however much you love them, perhaps they didn't love you, because I think it's probably psychologically improbable for a person to be able to plot and plan against you in such a way if they actually love you. Now, I know that there are exceptions, and I know that there are certain twists, variations of love that could lead to darker actions and intentions as well. But um, it's my belief that if a person actually loves you and actually cares for you deeply, then it's extremely difficult for them to do malevolent things to you. But that's a different conversation. License to kill.